and you'll catch the tune really quick. And I'd like you to help us out, everybody, and make the words your own, okay, so that we can radiate peace throughout the world from right here. Okay? Hit it, Ben. Oh. Uh-oh. Okay. We're going to send some peace to Ben right now. Oops. All about peace. Not that one. That's okay. Nope. Send in peace, Ben. Send in peace. There it is. You guys can clap if you want to. Or you don't have to. I'm all about peace. All about peace. I'm all about love. All about love. No world of trouble. No world of trouble. I can't rise above. Can't rise above. I'm all about peace. All about peace. I'm all about love. All about love. That's who I am. That's who I am. That's who I am. It's who I am. When the world around me seems to be in chaos, I've got to step out of the way to get a clue. I'm a human being making meaning out of circumstance until I let my peace come shining through. I'm all about peace. All about peace. I'm all about love. All about love. No world of trouble. No world of trouble. I can't rise above. Can't rise above. I'm all about peace. All about peace. I'm all about love. All about love. That's who I am. That's who I am. That's who I am. It's who I am. Woo! All right, this is a little Jimmy Boyd for you this morning. Remember him? Woo! You guys are going to get another chance to sing. So warm up that singing voice. But when I'm busy thinking about the meaning of it all, there's no room for being all the years. How about there, regardless of it all? I said, how about there, regardless of it all? Do you accept? Do you accept? Yes! Okay. Come on then, sing it with me loud and clear, okay? I'm all about peace. I'm all about love. No world in trouble. I can't rise above. I'm all about peace. I'm all about love. That's who I am. 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 That's who you are. That's who I am. 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 That's who we are. That's who we are.
Good morning. I should say good morning, family. So I'm here because I get to say this. They said yes. That's right. We said yes. Yep. So, what a great day so far. Since it's time for announcements, and since I'm the president of the Board of Trustees, I get to tell you that. Reverend Mindy Tucker and Reverend Dr. Nikki Golden are moving to Arizona to be our next ministers. They want to be here so much that they've given notice to their current congregation weeks ago, allowing them to move here in time to lead Easter services. What an act of faith is that. They made the decision before we even had the finalized meeting. So we just final negotiating Zoom tonight. So much faith in us and in our order. All this is actually happening at a very fast pace. Your board of trustees has done an amazing job learning all the minutiae of detail necessary to properly write a contract that honors and respects all parties concerned, including the ministers, our staff, you, our congregation. In our capital campaign, Creating Tomorrow, the next step is planting the seeds. Here at Unity of Mesa, we have been blessed with exceptional leadership. Joel, Mark, Kathy, and Judy. So Nikki and Mindy are our next great leaders that we will have to take this community to the next phase of our spiritual evolution. And so it is. Amen.
Well, I don't know how I follow that news, but I do have a few things to tell you. Next Sunday, we will continue to mask, but we will open hospitality in the garden, where masks will be optional. In order to do this, however, we need several volunteers, from table setup to making coffee, cleanup, takedown, and then there's the treats. Right now, our preference is to have already cut and separated items on your personal trays, bowls, etc., so that our hospitality team gets to enjoy service with the rest of us, and cleanup is quick. If you're interested in volunteering, please see Nancy. And if you'd like to bring treats, see Nancy or email lori@unityofmesa.org. And Karen Pfeiffer is bringing back mindfulness meditation. Join her the second and fourth Sunday mornings at 9 a.m., beginning next Sunday in the annex. And this is for anyone who would like to deepen your meditation practice and sit in meditation with a group. And I can tell you it's a very wonderful, deep, meaningful spiritual experience, and Karen is wonderful. Our youth ministry team is hosting several multi-generational events this year, and you are all invited. We have two to share today. First, our very own Laren Lendl will share his time and talents in a ceramics workshop. And this is an all ages, all abilities event happening in the annex on March 20th. So bring your creativity and join us. And please register online or in the bookstore. And if you're thinking about it,
You better act soon because there are only 3 spaces left. Then on Friday, March 25th, bring the whole family and friends for movie night to see Disney's Encanto. Popcorn, water, and cotton candy provided. Wow, what memories that brings back. This is an outdoor event on the annex patio. Our guest speaker for the next 2 Sundays is Reverend Eliza Bloom. In between, she brings us a workshop, Quantum Frequency Coherence Meditation. This is a powerful meditation experience open to all, whether you have meditation experience or not. You can find details, dates, times, and more for all of our events and workshops on our Things for You to Know page at unityofmesa.org. Thank you all for sharing your love and light with us this morning. Please know that your soul is welcome here. And now let's share our guiding statement to remind us why we come together. Say with me, we are here to experience more of the fullness of who we truly are in order to transform the world. All are welcome here. And now, let's prepare ourselves for meditation.
So the invitation from Eliza to do that meditation, I want you to know she spent, I believe, 1 or 2 months down in Mexico with James Twyman, who is the person who has led worldwide meditations in times and countries who are at war. So he was down in the Middle East at one point holding space for prayer. So she's probably had a pretty powerful experience and will probably be able to bring that to you, all of you. And now I would like to invite you into meditation that I use on a regular basis. And it is just the breath that connects us, the breath that helps us move energy in our body. So I invite you to find a comfortable position. And if during the meditation you become uncomfortable, readjust yourself so that you are comfortable. It's okay to move. You don't have to stay rigid during meditation. I invite you to allow your hands to rest on your lap, possibly palms down. We're going to ground a little bit. And I'm going to invite you to follow your breath. I invite you to breathe into your belly. And then let your lungs fill up from there. Then exhale from your belly and squeeze the air all the way out from your belly and all the way up through even the top part of your lungs. And then repeat. Just breathe in deep into your belly. Continue to fill up all the way to the top of your lungs. Then exhale from the bottom of your belly all the way up. And now count how many counts it takes you to fill up in your inhale. So usually we go with about 4. So we breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue with your count. You may need only 3 counts. You may need 6, 7, or 8, but you want the inhale and the exhale to be the same length. Focus on your breath. Easy in, Easy out. Now we're going to add another part. After the inhale, retain your breath for 2 counts, and then exhale for the 4, or whatever it is, so you retain for half the amount of time. So we breathe in, retain your breath, and allow it to exhale. Continue the cycle. I invite you to drop the breath work and just sit in silence and stillness. Now bring some movement into your fingers, some movement into your toes, awareness of your breath, maybe lengthen it and deepen it. And then whatever your body is calling for in the way of movement, maybe stretching, and slowly open your eyes and allow your surroundings to come into you. And then we can slowly, just very slowly, bring the lights up a little bit. And I've got a question for you. While you were counting your breath, how many of you heard the traffic outside? How many of you thought about what you were going to have to do after church today? How many of you thought about what was for lunch today? When we focus on the breath and we have a task that we give the brain, which was the counting, all the rest of the stuff kind of falls away. And that makes it easier to be in meditation, easier to sit in that silence. And so this is just one of those little practices, call it pranayama in yoga. It's a practice that helps you access that meditative state. And so it's an easy one to do. It's called 1-to-1-to-1 breathing. And it's 1 count for going up, 1 count for holding your breath in, retaining it, 1 count for exhaling, and 1 count actually for holding the breath out. And if I do 4 counts up, I'm going to do 4 across. I want to do 4 down. I want to do 4 across eventually. But that's a way to get your mind to stop talking to you, or your brain to stop talking to you. And then the other thing I would like you to do right now is close your eyes while you're still kind of in that state and think, if I had any question, I could ask Reverend Judy, preferably about how to use spiritual practices to survive the world. But if I had any question I wanted to ask, what would it be? And I invite you, when you have a question, to write it down on the card you have. And then the ushers will, if you just raise it up in the air, then the ushers will grab it, and you will be doing the lesson for me. So thank you so much for that. And I invite you to ask a question, write it down, and then hold the card up. And Barb's going to come up and sing us into the lesson then.
Thank you so much, Reverend Judy. That was wonderful. I needed that. All right. This is a Daniel Nemod song. I just love it. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of light. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me to the present moment, to a new beginning, and I'm seeing life My soul, I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, get ready, my soul. Get ready, get ready, my soul. Get ready, get ready,
So if you've got a card, raise your hand up if you've got anything written on the card. And I'll invite them to bring it on up. So I was kind of going, okay, COVID numbers are down. I haven't had anybody call me at church for 2 weeks saying they've got COVID. Called Steve Swager and asked him if he'd bring the regathering team back together. And they came together, and then I get this phone call from our speaker. Judy, I can't go to church. I can't go anyplace for 5 days until this is all passed. And so I'm going, oh, how about that? And so I called a few people, and they were already committed for the weekend. So I thought, well, I can just do this. And I thought, when do you think you have time to do that? Because, of course, being me, I filled in all my time. But I thought, what would I like to have had a chance to do that you guys maybe didn't get a chance to do? And that was to just ask me some questions. So I'm game for anything, but I don't promise I'll answer everything. But I'm pretty open and transparent, so I'm glad to answer most things. And I asked a big question yesterday because I actually have a spiritual teacher that I've been working with, call her my guru. And so I've had lots more of those mystical experiences with that. And in having those mystical experiences, it's the question I had yesterday was, so as you experience this stuff more and more, which is all oneness, how do you live in the real world? And she didn't have a very good answer for me, but anyway, I didn't like her answer, maybe. So, okay, so I'm going to just go through. Okay, what are some tricks to create a daily practice? It's hard, isn't it? To do it daily. I have found, and I've experimented and I've played with it, I have found I have to have movement as part of my daily meditation practice. I need to move. Now, it may be as simple as moving my breath consciously, like we did during the meditation today, or it may be a walk, and then sitting down at the park on a rock and closing my eyes, and all the traffic, everything gets shut out. But my body wants that movement first. And I know that doesn't work for everybody, but I would invite you to play. Play with what might work. It may be the crocheting. We have lots of women who come in and crochet when they're in here because it allows them to settle their mind down, their brain down. It may be coloring. I know at one point during my 10 years here, coloring was a big thing, a meditative coloring practice. It may be music. It may be chanting. I've played with chanting more and more this past year, and it is very powerful. And you can find chants online, and many of them go for 10 to 15 minutes to 10 hours. Deva Premal, D-E-V-A, P-R-E-M-A-L, does all sorts of chants, and you don't really need to know what she's saying because they're in Sanskrit, most of them. Your body knows. Your soul knows. It's an ancient language, and your soul brings that forward with it. So listening to that, chanting with it after a while. Lots of the YouTubes will have the words written on the screen, so you can also join in. But hers tends to be a little bit slower than some of the others, and it's easier to hear because of the, I don't know what you call it, but like her voice isn't too high or too deep. It's just right in there in a really pleasant space to be able to hear it. So those are the things that help me continue to do something daily. And when I don't make time in the morning to do those things, to do something, I watch my day and it never goes as smoothly and as easily as the days that I do my practice. And that, if nothing else, makes me want to do that practice. It may be 2 minutes. It may be 1 minute on a busy day. It may be a full hour. I do not have a daily set number of minutes, but I do a daily practice every day. And that means it's done with intention. The intention of doing it and the awareness that you're doing it is important. Okay, so I'm assuming this is about meditation. How long should it last if just starting? So remember when I just started, because I learned how to meditate in a martial arts class. It was 1 minute at the beginning of each class. Sit down and meditate. And I'm going, finally got enough courage up to ask this super duper black belt. So what am I doing while I'm sitting here? He said, you're looking at a white sheet of paper. Well, that didn't work for me, but anyway, we tried it, and I learned to sit for a minute. And that's what I did for 3 years at the beginning of my practices. Was just sit for 3 minutes or 1 minute. That was all it took. And then he took it further, and it would be in the middle of fighting. I know this isn't where most people come into meditation from, but in the middle of being in the ring and fighting, and you're huffing and you're puffing and your adrenaline's up and your heart rate's up really high. And he'd say, okay, stop, sit down, stop your heart. And everything in my practice as a physical education person was, you never sit down when your heart rate is racing because it's not safe. Well, by George, I could sit down and in less than 60 seconds, I could control the speed of my heart and nothing bad happened to me. So that is one of the things of meditation is it will slow your heart rate down. It will slow your anxiety down. It will slow time down for you. So when I meditate, I have much more time throughout the whole day than when I don't. When I rush through my day, my time goes too fast and I can't get it all done. Anybody else have that problem? You can't get it all done? Yeah. If I take the time to meditate, I seem to be able to bend time, to make more time, and it just happens. And I used to set a timer because I would meditate on my way to teach school. I'd walk about a mile. I'd be all ready for school, and I'd walk about a mile, and then I'd stop. There was a lake right across the street from the school, and I'd stop, and I'd sit on a rock. But I knew I had to be at school at a certain time, and I'd set my alarm on my watch. But every time, my body would wake me up in time to get to school. I'd usually wake up within 60 seconds of when my alarm was going to go off. So our body will wake you up when you need to be woken up. So if you only want to sit for 5 minutes, you can say, I'm going to be here for 5 minutes. And trust it. Trust it on days you don't have to be someplace. So you play with it, experiment with it, and see what happens. But your body will tell you when it's been long enough. Your body will tell you, oh, you said 7 minutes. It's 6.5 minutes now. It'll let you know. Our bodies are amazing. Why did I come to Unity? What are the practices here? So I was unchurched. Did not go to church from the time I was 8 until I was 50. I took my black belt test. And at the end of the test, I was black, I was blue, I did everything that the teenagers had to do, and I was exhausted. And the night before, I'd done a written test that took 3 hours to complete. And that Saturday morning, I got done with the test thinking, I can't wait to go home and soak in a tub and go to bed. And they said, oh, and tomorrow we'll pick you up for church. I said, I don't go to church. They said, yeah, you need to go to church. At least today, to honor your trainers, your upper belts. And I was like, ugh. And then my daughter got picked up by the police that night. Underage drinking. It was the Saturday night after 9/11. And they had decided to go drinking. They went to a park and they parked on the grass instead of the parking the street or something. The water patrol came in, saw all 20 of the kids with beer in their hands and arrested them all. And so when her father brought her home, I said, we'll talk about your punishment tomorrow, because she lied to me about where she was going. And you get to go to church with me tomorrow because you must need it. Now, this is from somebody who had never taken her kids to church, right? So I drug her to church, and she pouted the whole time. But I had this amazing experience. It was Unity in Kansas City. It was the first Unity church built by the Fillmores. And it was a interfaith service the Sunday after 9/11. And I walked out of there feeling like I'd found home. You know, I had the tears, had that sense of being at home, which I know many of you have spoken to me of. When you've walked in these doors, there's something that is different here from other Christian churches. I believe that something is that we invite you to take personal responsibility. And I believe that our teachings of we are blessed with original grace instead of we are original sinners. And so that changes everything and the perspective that we have on life and on God. And for me, that works. And I found myself continuing to go to church when there wasn't anything more exciting to do. I'm sure some of you have had that experience here. And then we moved and we came here. And I tried this church and it wasn't working for me. And the prayer chaplain who I talked to about it said, you need to go to Reverend Kira's church, who was Joel's ex-wife. And I kind of ignored it and met her a year later and then started going to her church. Joel would never have had the patience to walk me through my journey to get to ministry. Kira had the patience to sit with me and walk me through, because let me tell you, I kicked and screamed the whole way. But basically, it's that basic unity teaching of we are graced with we are blessed with original grace, and we are not original sinners. And therefore, we don't have to be saved. And Jesus was a way shower and a teacher as opposed to my savior. Yes, I'm welcome. I'd be delighted to go to dinner with whoever invited up, but I do eat vegan. So, and I am in town until April the 2nd, then I am gone for a month. Okay, this was part of my question too. What are some other ways to bring ourselves back to peace and get centered when we have allowed world situations to put us in a stressful state? And it's hard. It's hard right now. It was hard when things were happening in the Mideast. It was hard when we had with COVID hit, and we had such divisions, and the racial issues were brought into the headlights again. It's hard to be in this world sometimes. And so, and I find that the more I do the work, sometimes the harder it is, because my heart is open wider. And so I've had a couple of, where you just kind of float up into the air, not where you leave your body, but where you actually levitate. So I've had a couple of levitation experiences, but with each one of those has come a deeper understanding of our oneness. So 2 weeks ago, I had an experience, and a few days later, I had to get rid of the weeds in my yard. And my son and I were screwing around a little bit, and I said, what if I could just take a torch to them and just burn them? Because I'm so tired of trying to pull weeds, and you know how hard it gets here when the ground gets hard. You can pull for a while right after rain, but then it's so hard. And I was just kind of playing with that, and he came out of the garage. He was visiting, and he found a welding torch. He said, here, Mom, try it. And so I did, and I could hear the weeds screaming. And I'm going, I can't do this. I can't pull them anymore either. So as you have more of those experiences and you get a visceral experience of oneness, it does become harder to live in the world. And, I remember my heart just hurting, and then the next day on the news heard about Russia and Ukraine. I went, because I just had this heart. I was going, am I having a heart attack or what's going on? But it was that feeling, the feeling of others, that empathy that is so strong. And so what I do believe is that our souls come here for an experience. And this sounds really unempathetic, not empathetic, but our souls come here for an experience. And sometimes that experience doesn't show up very well. But it's the growth that the soul needs. And with that being said, my soul is connected to all these other souls on this planet. And if there is something that is mine to do, I am not, and my soul calls me to do it, and I refuse to do it because I'm too afraid, or I can't figure out how to do it, or all the excuses we give for ignoring what's happening around us. I don't give my soul that growth opportunity, which means I'm going to get to do it again because my soul needs that experience. So, that's been kind of part of my belief with COVID, is that at some level, we have a bunch of souls on this planet that are ready to move on and move to a different body, so to speak, a different temple, to have their next growth experience, or they have completed the growth experience they came here to do. And it took me a long while to get to this belief system. It's taken me, watching people in their last hours of living and talking with them. It's taken talking with people who have had near-death experiences for me to be able to get to where that really makes sense to me. But that's where I've ended up. That's where I've landed after 10 years of doing this type of work, is that we are here. I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual laws, having a very human experience. And in that experience, I do the best I can do, given my levels of understanding, my levels of woundedness, of hurt, and my levels of awareness. And that means you're doing the same thing, you're doing the same thing, Putin's doing the same thing, Biden's doing the same thing. I believe we all get up each day wanting to do the best we can do, but sometimes we are very unaware of our connection with each other, of pain. I believe people who inflict pain can't feel it anymore because they have had so much pain in their own life, whether it's emotional or physiological, or came from another lifetime. And so that's one way that I can say, okay, let me find peace, because I can't create peace out there if I cannot find my peace in here. I have to operate from peace, and I don't always. I have a very human experience going on here, but I work really hard at trying to find that peace before I respond. And then when I find that peace, I don't just sit back with it. I need to do something from that place of peace. And it's up to us as to what we decide to do with it. But that's how I am able to center myself in this world that seems so crazy and so mean and so cruel. All right, I'm getting a time signal. I don't find balance between work and the rest of my life. I've spent 10 years trying to do that. I don't do that. So, sorry. I don't know many ministers who are very good at it. Maybe your next ones will be. Okay. So I answered that one already. So about who could guide meditations, help you with that. Karen Pfeiffer is amazing, and she's doing extensive training work in it. So I would jump into that 9 o'clock service to see how that goes. If you're a breath holder, you just need to be aware of it. And as soon as you catch yourself, do the breathing, the 1-to-1-to-1-to-1 breathing. Do that for 2 or 3 minutes after you've caught yourself holding your breath. So it will help you. And put your shoulders down. Your shoulders are up. Okay, spirit guides and angels, that happens for me during meditation, and I know I can talk to them and ask them, and they will give me answers. Best meditation practice is the one that works for you and that you can do. And can I have 3 more minutes, Ben? Oh, it's time. Okay. I don't say goodbye well, so I'm leaving right away. And I am heading to Ecuador in 2 weeks, so I don't have to say goodbye over and over again. And I'm not bored since retiring. I haven't had time to even breathe yet. So as you deepen your experience and discover that your power to heal in your message, how do you find the platform to share? Well, there's always that route to seminary. It's a long, hard one, though. And, Unity has amazing ways to do that through our spiritual development classes. So Dennis has been taking all the classes and has had more time to share. Julie, who was up here, is in finishing up those classes. And you get to speak to the new ministers and see what they will allow you to do. And I think you guys will be really blessed by those new ministers. So remember, 2 things in life happen: change and you die. I live by the way I believe about death. What I believe about death informs the way I live. And once I get into my little stubborn head that change always happens, learn to live with it gracefully, life becomes easier. And I want to thank you all for supporting me in my journey and creating such opportunities for growth that you have created for me. And I am amazed. Your board has been amazing in the work they have done, and you couldn't have elected a better board. And those of you who were on the board before and not anymore, you should be really glad, because the board's met almost every week, at least 1 to 3 hours every week for the last 3 months. So yeah, I know you guys never had to do that during your time. So honor your board members, because they have worked really diligently on this. So thank you all. And this is goodbye. I am not coming in for the next 2 weeks, no matter what. And then I'm on an airplane to Quito. So bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Reverend Judy, for stepping in, especially at the last minute. We all enjoyed all your answers. And this morning, I just wanted to point out again how blessed we are here at Unity, and how blessed we've been with our Creating Tomorrow campaign. And I just want to thank everyone who's been involved in that. And as we continue to give, we are abundantly blessed here. And God is the source of all of our abundance. We are living in a universe that is unlimited. When we give thanks and are grateful for what we have and what we give, we open ourselves to that abundance. Here at Unity of Mesa, your gifts of time, talent, and treasures continue to support the teachings here and our higher consciousness to reach all who are open to the truth through the work of this ministry. And now let's share our offering blessing together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we are so thankful here for all the gifts that come in, and of course for our wonderful givers. Thank you. Oh, I did not point out, you can give in the back at the offering, the red offering buckets, and as well as through our Vanco mobile app and online at unityofmesa.org. Thank you.
One thing's for certain is change. So why don't we just change it up, right? frustration. It's just the way of the spirit. Trying to let you know that it's time to change it up. I can sit still and stand my ground, or open up and just allow and change it. Change it. Change it. Change it. Stagnation is just the way of the spirit. Trying to let you know that it's time to change it up. Change it. I can make the couch my best of friends, or open up and let the world in and change it up. Change it up. Change it up. Change it up. Here's a little more Jimmy Boy Change it. Change it. Elation. Change it. The reward of the spirit. Change it. Shine the light. Change it. I like to go and change it. Change it. I am living in the here and now. Embrace the change that I allowed and change it. Change it. Change it. Change it. Thank you.
Thank you, Barb. It's been a pleasure having you and your magnificent voice here today. What an emotional service. Today, after service, you're welcome to stay and visit. The garden is open. The family room has some beautiful pottery pieces by Laren and Dennis. And of course, there's always the bookstore. And chaplains are available for one-on-one prayer and can be identified by their blue and white stoles. If some of you are here today, if you'll stand, I hope we have some. All right. Okay. If you will join me now in our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a beautiful, blessed Sunday.